So let's talk about selling on Facebook Marketplace, but let's really dive into how to maximize your profits because, like selling anything, you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can list something that you have no idea what it's worth and be like, I think it's worth 20 bucks, but I don't know. And then you sell it, you list it, and you get 20 people message you instantly. And you instantly know that you had that listed for way too low, but you've already listed it, so morally you feel like the best thing to do is just go ahead and sell it. Well, I'm going to run you through some tips and tricks that can help you maximize your profits selling on Facebook Marketplace that have worked for me. Now, my experience with Facebook Marketplace, I have sold thousands of things, possibly thousands of things. I've earned about $10,000 from selling stuff through Facebook Marketplace. So I've tried a lot of things. I know what works well, what doesn't work well, and we're going to touch base on the things that I found to be the most helpful to help me make the most money on Facebook Marketplace. Starting with the first thing, obviously, for those that have used Facebook Marketplace, know that the more populated of an area that you're in, the more money that you can make for things because you have more buyers. So I bought a property up in the mountains to put out on Airbnb a couple years ago, and it came fully furnished. So it came with beds, furniture, dinner tables, plates, dishes, literally like you walk into someone's house and that was all included in the sale. So my first thought was, oh great, I will sell everything inside this condo and I'll be able to replace it with other things. So I started listing a couple things on Facebook Marketplace up there. Now this is in the mountains of North Carolina. It is not a super populated area. So I was listing a lot of things and I wasn't getting any hits, even when I lowered prices really low. So I live near Charlotte, North Carolina, which is about a 2-hour drive from the North Carolina mountains where I bought the property at that came fully furnished. Now, my option was to take everything the property came with and throw it out, which then you have to have dumpster fees and stuff like that. Or because I had a pickup truck, a Ford Ranger at the time, I decided to bring everything home. So I'd go up there every weekend and I would just pack my truck full of furniture, everything that I could, and drive it back to Charlotte. I loaded it up on that side of the garage and I would add stuff to Facebook Marketplace, and everything I got, I was able to sell because Charlotte is a lot more populated of an area. So if you are looking to buy stuff or sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, the more dense or populated of an area that you can sell it at, the better. So that's my first piece of advice. If you have multiple homes or you're in multiple locations, wherever is the most populated area, that's your ideal place to sell stuff. For my next tip, when it comes to meeting people on Facebook Marketplace. So we're looking at this from strictly a perspective of making the most money you possibly can off Facebook Marketplace. So my advice is always have people come to your house, with one exception. Everyone that you're talking to that's like, hey, you want to come to, I want to buy this, let me come to your house, let me pick it up. I always review the Facebook page of the person that is the buyer to see like, this person looks a little sketchy, I might want to meet them somewhere publicly. So most of the time, the people that are coming to pick up things that I'm selling are normal. I've never had an issue with someone coming to my house to pick something up. So that saves you gas from having to drive somewhere to meet someone. When I first started on Facebook Marketplace years ago, I would meet people and half the time they wouldn't show up. And I'm sure most of you have experienced that, and that is the most frustrating thing. Because you put in the time to load up whatever you're selling, to drive to the location, to sit there, to wait 10 minutes after, 20 minutes after, 30 minutes after, blowing up the person's phone saying, where the heck are you? Why aren't you here? And then you drive home with all that time wasted, the gas that it took for you to get to the meeting location. And it is just, that is one of the worst things. So to avoid people that do no-shows, have them come to your house. If they look sketchy or you're not comfortable with people coming to your house, find the nearest public location to your house. So that could be a grocery store 5 minutes down the road. That could be a gas station. That could be a public parking lot at a college or a university, or anywhere that's a public location as close to your house as possible. That needs to be the place that you meet people at, because it's the shortest distance. So if they don't show up, if you're sitting there waiting, it's a short drive back home and you don't waste a ton of gas. Don't offer to meet someone 40, 50 minutes away and then risk them not showing up. Another thing, if you are going to meet someone further away, charge more money. Charge essentially a delivery fee. If you're willing to go to someone's house to deliver it or meet them, be like, hey, I really am looking for people that are maybe 15 minutes from my house. Since you're closer to an hour, with the gas and stuff, I'll need to charge more money. And that will work. That's been successful for me. I've driven over an hour away to meet somebody, but I charged a delivery fee to deliver it to their house. So that's another thing to do. So if you're looking at it from strictly a safety standpoint, police stations are great places to meet people. But if you're solely looking for how to maximize the most amount of money you can on Facebook Marketplace, definitely have people come to your house or the absolute closest public place to your house. The next tip that I have for you, do your research before you sell something. If you're selling a child's t-shirt, then go on Facebook Marketplace and search for child's t-shirt. And you'll see your competition. You'll see some people will have shirts at $5. You'll see some people that'll have it at $35. Consider the quality and the quantity of other people selling the same item in your location to help you get a good idea of what that product's actually worth. Because that shirt that you're thinking of selling for $20, you may be able to sell for more, or it may be worth a lot less than you think. So this next tip is a little controversial. Some people may agree with it, some may not. However, I will tell it to you as it's a way that can help you make more money. So taking the ethics out of it. If you look on your local Facebook groups, you can see a lot of people that give away stuff for free. What you can always do, which I'm not saying if this is right or wrong, but if you are looking to maximize your money, you can always pick up things that people are giving away for free, and then resell that on Facebook Marketplace. Or if you're in a thrift store and you see something, a designer shirt, that you could sell for probably $40 on Facebook Marketplace, you can get for $2 or $3 at the thrift store and then resell it. Again, that's kind of a touchy subject. Some people feel that it's unethical to do that, where other people, they'll bring in a whole shopping cart and that's their whole plan, is to get as much stuff as they can for free or cheap to resell on Facebook Marketplace. So that's another thing to keep in mind if you are looking to maximize your profits on Facebook Marketplace. And now for my final piece of advice, and I saved the best for last. So if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations, because you are about to maximize your profits. So my final piece of advice, and the best piece of advice so far, is always list your products for higher than what they're worth. A lot of people on Facebook Marketplace will not negotiate. They will see that you have it listed at $60. It may be worth $40, and they'll buy it for $60. They won't negotiate on price. Some people just don't. Some people hate negotiating. If they see the sticker price says $60, then they'll pay $60, or they just won't pay anything. You do run that risk, because when you have the product higher, it may scare someone off because they may not negotiate. But there's been things that I did my market research that was worth maybe $60. I listed it at $80 because you can kind of go back and forth and get down to a price that you're happy with. And people have bought it at $80 for more than it was actually worth, because they saw it, they liked it, it was an impulse buy. So I not only made a sale, but I made even more money because people bought it without doing their research on to see what it was actually worth. So when it comes to negotiations, you always want to list something higher than what you're willing to sell it for. If you're trying to sell something that's worth $50, if you list it for $50, more than likely someone will reach out to you with, hey, can you take 30? Can you take 40? Can you take 20? And then you have to counter to that, or you can just flat out say no. But you can counter to that and say, sure, let's do 40. And then they'll accept, possibly. So then you've sold something that was worth $50 for $40. So the person buying it had got a great deal. But you as a seller, you've lost out on money. So that's one thing I always recommend. Do your research, find out what something is actually worth, and list it for higher than that. That way, best case scenario, someone comes to you, you have something worth $50. Someone comes up to you and they say, hey, you have it listed at, let's say, $70. They'll say, hey, can you do 60? And in your mind, you're like, yeah, I can do 60. So you agree to 60. At the end of the day, you walked away with $10 more than what your product was actually worth. Whereas the buyer feels they got a deal because they got $10 off. But in reality, you sold it for more than it was worth. So there's always that back and forth, and there's the people that don't negotiate. So you may sell something that's 50 for 80 because someone doesn't know what it's worth or they're afraid to negotiate. So those are all my pieces of advice for you on how to maximize your profits using Facebook Marketplace. Stick around. I have tons of other videos on the way to help you maximize your money, to make money, side hustles, all that fun kind of stuff. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.